So I started learning how to play guitar probably when I was 20 years old. I was going to the Ohio State University, and I was friends with a band by the name of Redshift, and a couple of guys from the band said that they'd teach me how to play after I seen them get up on stage and have a blast at night. So they taught me a few chords, and I've just been going ever since. I wouldn't say that I'm very good, but I'm good enough to have a good time at it. So I do mostly painting in this studio. However, I never run out of ideas and things that I want to try. I tend to run out of time mostly. I like to dabble in ceramics, and a lot of the painting that I do is mixed media. So I actually started at Ohio State University with trying to go for a computer animation program there, and I made it about 2 years before I moved to Colorado. And that ended my career at Ohio State. Later went back to school at Kent State University and started up with graphic design. And I feel like that's where a large part of compositional sense really came from with most of my work. Even though it's abstract, I think about composition quite a bit. Learning how to balance my subjects, and so I'm constantly moving things around, which is beneficial to have my pieces loose so that I can actually move them and shift them. So when I was a little kid, I had this skateboard, and I used to love skateboarding and BMX biking and that sort of thing. I took the deck off the skateboard, and I had all these house paints, and I started throwing paint at it, and came up with this splattered mess, and I thought, oh, this is fantastic, I'm a genius. And then later, as I went to art school and discovered Jackson Pollock had done this, 20 years before I was even born, I was like, someone already beat me to it. But I've always appreciated that abstract style in which you're letting a lot of the paint kind of mix and blend and do some things on their own. And so I incorporate that quite a bit into my own work. I started with drip painting like Jackson Pollock, of course, but then eventually found some different ways to approach it that fit my scheme of things a little bit better. I try to be playful with the colors and the shapes that I choose because I feel like my paintings are more of an escape from a world that is full of anger and hate and racism and political, disagreements. And so a lot of my works, I want people just to really enjoy them and to have some sort of feeling of happiness when they see these pieces. And I know that a large portion of the work is about how I feel while I'm painting them as well. And so, it brings me joy to find specific objects within these abstract compositions, really pull those out for my audience to see. So I did this series of paintings in 2016 for a show called A Splash of Color that I was at Mount Union University in Alliance, Ohio. And I reworked the paintings slightly. Since then, for this show, I incorporated a little bit of the subject matter that helps to draw our viewers in and keep them in the abstract art. And so you'll see, and you may recognize some of the images that you find in here, but these are some of those works that you see in history books that say, well, it was started in 1594 and finished in 1596. Well, this one is started in 2016 and finished in 2020. I have reworked the titles on them as well, though. And so I started to incorporate the sphere because I was unclear on what I wanted to do. And all of a sudden it became this object or this subject that I could put into any painting and really communicated lots of different things. So, whether it's a compositional element that just helps finish the piece, or if it helps to bring out an actual object in some way. And so in this case, you see the mane of the horse and the leg, front leg, as the horse rears back. And in some cases, it's just a little dot, a little point where people can focus and draw their attention in and just keep them in the piece for a while. So a number of years ago, I noticed that a lot of the people that would view my work and abstract works in particular would walk right by it and not really understand it. And so I started to incorporate these little figures into my pieces, and most oftentimes I would just pull them right out of some history books and collage them in. And just having a little image in the painting that someone could relate to would all of a sudden draw their attention, and they'd stick around and look at abstract art for a while. And so kept moving forward with that. And trying to draw more interest into the formal properties of paintings with the use of some sort of recognizable object. It's a lot of paint that's been spilled on these floors, so you can hear my shoes quite a bit. It's kind of musical.